Hello. Alright, so before I begin, I'm doing Get Out, by the way. After this review, I'm going to take a break from recording. I've been pre-recording. You're probably not going to even notice it. Because once October comes around, I'm going to start recording again. But I need to take a break before I'm starting to experience burnout, and I need to, give myself a break. So I will not be recording any videos except for a review for WWE Not So Extreme Rules. That's what I'm calling it because, by now, though, you have already seen my review, and I hope I do a review, but I don't know. As of this point, as I'm recording this, there's only one Extreme Rules match on that card. So that's what I'm saying. But here we have Jordan Peele's Get Out, a movie that, when it came out, got a lot of praise. It came out, Get Out, because, you had a comedian directing a horror movie, and that's different, And it tells the story of Chris and his girlfriend, Rose, and he is African American. She is not. Technically, the actor is a British citizen, but he's supposed to be African American. She is white, and they're going to her white parents' house for a weekend. And once they get there, weird stuff starts to happen, such as a bunch of white people showing up. There's another African American man who starts acting strange. They got two African American servants, even though they're not racist. Which we'll discuss that because of what is explained is going on with them. I'm just saying. So, yeah. So Daniel Kaluuya, first and foremost, is really good in this film. From his acting, you could not tell he's actually British. When I found out, I'm like, wait, what? No, there are some actors that are British or Australian. They can do accents, American accents, really good. Some of them have trouble. Rose. But, he's really good. And you have his best friend, Rod, from the TS motherfucking A, played by Lil Rel Howery. See if I can pick that name up here. Doesn't say on the back. They credit Stephen Root, who has like 2 scenes in the film, but they don't credit Lil Rel Howery. Okay. So, yeah, they're on their way, and they hit a deer, and or something, and they get pulled over, and by this white cop, and even though he wasn't driving, the police officer asked to see his driver's license, his ID, whatever. This kind of is familiar for me because I've been watching the new Twilight Zone on DVD. I watched the first disc last night, and on that third episode on that disc is an episode where these African American people, a woman and her son, are constantly being followed by a racist cop wherever they go. And so that kind of felt familiar. And if you think about it, Jordan Peele, this could lend itself to a Twilight Zone episode in a way. Although, in the Twilight Zone, it wouldn't be a happy ending. Although it almost wasn't. We'll get to that. But, so, yeah, they get there. So, like, when the cop asked for his ID, Rose is like, well, you don't need his ID. He wasn't the one driving. You don't need it. What? He's like, no, it's okay. I'll show him. No. This is not right. Trying to defend that it's a racist act. Although we do find out later, something else. But they get there and they're introduced to the parents, or he's introduced to the parents. Plus, there are 2 black African American, Uh, there's a groundskeeper and a maid. Walter and Georgina. And we're showing the history. And one important fact is that Rose's grandfather lost a race to Jesse Owens. That's important because it leads into the whole reason of what's going on here. During the film, I can't remember, Chris talks to his friend Rod. And during one of the scenes where he's talking to him on the phone, in the background there can be a voice heard over intercom saying Flight 237, which is, in fact, a reference to The Shining. Jordan Peele confirmed this in one of the videos on YouTube that he did. But yes, it's a reference to The Shining. There's that in Twilight Zone too, if you pay attention enough. But, so that was cool. And Chris starts to realize there's something else going on here. A bunch of white people show up, start acting all, strange. And he recognizes another African American man there. So he tries to take a picture. He talks to Roddy, he says, he looks familiar to me. He doesn't get a picture. So I take a picture, the flash goes off, and all of a sudden the guy, you see this in trailers, he goes, "Get out! Get out!" And then they say, "Oh, he's fine, he just, had a mini psychotic break or something. I don't know." They're when he's introduced to the parents, he's told that the mom, played by Catherine Keener, is into hypnotism, and she wants Chris to quit smoking. And there's one particular moment when he comes in from having a smoke, which he never actually has, because PG-13, he can't show that shit. And he comes in, he starts talking to her, and she's sitting there, and she's spinning in a teacup and stuff, and he slowly starts to realize he's getting hypnotized. And when he wakes up, he no longer has cravings for a cigarette. Only it was that easy, right, folks? Right, smokers? But, so, yes, and when these white people show up, we find out the real reason why Chris is there. They're to bid for him, and Stephen Root, who is blind and used to be a photographer, what a shock, wins the bid. And from that moment on, there's something going on. So, there's something going on, there's hypnotism involved, and there's, other, consciousness in people. Something like that. After what happened with the guy's name is Andre or Logan, there's something going on. So he wants to get out of there. So, next thing he confesses Rose, I have to get out of there, and they are confronted by the parents and the brother, Jeremy, who we see at the beginning of this in a night outfit, attacking Andre. So, beginning of the movie. So he keeps saying, "Rose, get the keys," and then it's revealed that she's in on it. Now, this is treated as if it's some big twist, but once you realize that something going on, that there's something going on, and they're bidding on Chris, yeah, of course she's in on it. Of course she's in on it. There's no twist. Especially since right before this, he finds a little cabinet in her room, the room they're staying in, that has a box that contains pictures of other African Americans in it, including Walter and Georgina. So, obviously she's in on it. But they treat this whole, I can't find the keys thing, and really, she had the keys and she's in on it, as a twist. It's not a twist, because it's not that hard to figure out that she's in on it. Although there is a theory, which I'll get to, but I don't think it's true. But, yes. And Chris is, knocked out, and he wakes up in the basement, which they addressed had black mold. But, right? And we meet Grandpa Armitage, Rose's grandpapa, who is in Walter's body. And this is where it loses me every time I get to it, right? Because they explain that not only is there hypnotism involved, but they do a brain transplant. If there is a brain transplant, why does a camera flash cause the other's consciousness to appear, to come back? It makes no sense. If it was just hypnotism, that would make sense. But the fact that you have to take one person's brain out, put another one in, that means you have that person's consciousness and the other consciousness is completely gone. Haven't you seen any sci-fi stuff? You do a brain transplant, your consciousness is now in that body, and whoever consciousness was in that body is now gone. That's how a brain transplant works. I mean, two guys and a girl in a pizza place did it better in the 90s, early 2000s, whatever. And they had their Halloween episode. Technically, it was still two guys and a girl. It was two guys and a girl at this point, but they still did it better with the brain swap thing with Sharon and Berg, I think it was. Even Scooby-Doo did it better with just a thing. I really don't get the point of having to take a brain out when hypnotism will work just fine. And if that was the case, taking the brain out, there wouldn't be another consciousness in there. The camera wouldn't do shit. It makes no sense. But, Chris is hearing all this, and there's a sound that goes off that hypnotizes him. But when Jeremy comes in to get him, Chris, gets up, beats the hell out of him, knocks him unconscious, and he reveals that he picked cotton out of the chair and put in his ears. So he saved himself by picking cotton. An African-American man saved himself by picking cotton, and Jordan Peele also confirmed that that was on purpose. That was the point. That's kind of cool. That is kind of funny to me. Nothing racist or anything, but I think that is kind of cool that he did that. Some people might roll their eyes at, oh my god, yeah, he saved himself by picking cotton. Oh, that is so. Yeah. No. That felt weird. But yeah, and so he dispatches the dad, Bradley Whitford's character, who is really good in this movie, by the way. Then he dispatches the mom before she can hypnotize him again, and then he gets in this fight with the brother. And there's a conversation earlier in the film when I talk about jiu-jitsu versus judo, and how he keeps he keeps trying to stomp the door, and he knows that it's going to keep getting repeated, so he tries it one last time, Chris does, and so Jeremy goes to put his foot on the door, and he stabs his foot, knocking him down, he kills Jeremy as he's going out. Rose, and then, Jordan Peele did it on purpose, and then Rose shoots him with a shotgun. Earlier in the film, she said that her dad wasn't going to be waving around a shotgun, and then she ends up being one that shoots him. He goes out and tries to get in a car, accidentally hits Georgina. It's revealed that she's in there. It is revealed that it is the grandparents inside Walter and Georgina. And Georgina, he's forced to kill Georgina, and then he gets out and he's attacked by Walter, or the grandpa, and he uses camera flash to free him, and he uses the shotgun to shoot Rose and then shoot himself so he can't be controlled again, but they're dead anyway, but their whole house is on fire now. And here is the part where people get the theory. So he goes to strangle Rose, and she says, "It's me, and I love you," and then he goes to choke her, and so people have latched on that there's a theory out there that Rose was hypnotized this entire time as well to do her parents' bidding, and at this point in the film is where she snapped out of it. Maybe she see the camera flash too, but she was still standing there with the shotgun. It doesn't make any sense, because when he tries to strangle her and he can't bring himself to do it, she smiles and acts like a bitch again. There's also a scene earlier I have to address where she's sitting there eating Fruit Loops, and she has a Fruit Loops in a little bowl or something and then a glass of white milk. Separate the whites and the colors, right? And Jordan Peele did say that was on purpose too. You know, a little wink, wink, nod, nod thing. But yeah, I don't get the theory that she was hypnotized. I thought about it at first, but I was like, oh, yeah, she says, it's me. Okay. And then she smiles. But even before that, when she says it's me, if she was hypnotized to do this stuff, she wouldn't know who Chris was because she's been hypnotized to bring these people. Who knows how long she's been out of it? Like, she can see what's going on, but she can't do anything. But she wouldn't even know Chris really, other than the name. So it doesn't make sense. And then we get where the endings change. So the theatrical ending that we get is that he's starting to strangle her, can't bring himself to do it, and then we see and hear sirens, and it's actually Rod coming to save him, because there's a subplot where Rod tries to convince the other TSA cops that there's a sex cult, which he's trying to be funny, and at some points he is funny, but when you're going to talk to other cops, be straightforward. Don't start yelling about sex cults. It makes no sense. It just doesn't. Anyway, he shows up. Chris gets in the car. They drive away. One thing to note is Rose is technically still alive here. Yes, she kind of just goes, but she's technically still alive. So she could show up in a sequel. The original ending, though, I don't really care for. Original ending, it's not Rod that shows up. It's actual cops. They arrest him for murdering the Armitages, and he goes to jail. And refuses to give out any names. When Rod comes to see him, he tries to tell him, hey, you got to give us something. I don't remember. He's refusing to give names, and he goes, I got him. I stopped him, man. I stopped him. And he gets up and he leaves. We get this stupid-ass music playing, and it's supposed to be creepy, but it's annoying, mostly. I like the actual theatrical ending better than this. It doesn't do it for me. I'm glad that Jordan Peele took it out because it doesn't work. All in all, I'd say Get Out is pretty good. I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. I think it's a pretty good movie. I don't rewatch it often because of the subject matter. I don't like. It's not really racism. If you think about it, it's like anti-racism, I guess. But it's just, I don't know. But it's good. Also, supposedly this is an Academy Award-winning movie. What did it win for? Writing? Directing? What? It didn't win Best Picture, I know that. It was nominated, maybe. I don't know. But 8 out of 10. So what are your thoughts on Get Out? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I was Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.